Hello, welcome back to a chapter a day. Today we will be reading Judges chapter 3. Yesterday we read Judges chapter 2 about some of the nations that God left back for the children of Israel, unconquered, as a thorn in their flesh, which He told them. And we already saw that the children of Israel, the children of the children of the children, Lord knows how many generations have already passed since they left Egypt. I would say maybe they are on the second or third generation, because all of the elders like Aaron and Moses and Eleazar and Joshua now have died. So these are people who did not have the full Egypt experience or out of Egypt experience. So let's see how they remember or were taught or understood God's commandments to them. Chapter 3. Now these are the nations which the Lord left to prove Israel by them, even as many of Israel as had not known all the wars of Canaan, only that the generations of the children of Israel might know to teach them war, at the least such as before knew nothing thereof. So these are fresh bees, like freshmen. Okay, they didn't have the experience like some of those others that came out of Egypt and fought wars all the way through the wilderness. They maybe were born while they were trekking through, after maybe 40 years or so. Verse 3, namely, 5 lords of the Philistines, and all the Canaanites, and the Sidonians, and the Hivites, that dwelt in Mount Lebanon, from Mount Baal Hermon unto the entering in of Hamath. And they were to prove Israel by them, to know whether they would hearken unto the commandments of the Lord, which he commanded their fathers by the hand of Moses. And the children of Israel dwelt among the Canaanites, Hittites, Amorites, Perizzites, Hivites, and Jebusites. And these are some of the tribes that God specifically told them, eradicate. Okay, verse 6. And they took their daughters to be their wives, and gave their daughters to their sons, and served their gods. Woo! Verse 7, and the children of Israel did evil in the sight of the Lord, and forgat the Lord their God, and served Balaam and the groves. Therefore the anger of the Lord was hot against Israel, and he sold them into the hand of Chushan Rishathaim, king of Mesopotamia. And the children of Israel served Chushan Rishathaim 8 years. And when the children of Israel cried unto the Lord raised up a deliverer to the children of Israel, who delivered them, even Othniel, the son of Kenaz, Caleb's younger brother. And the Spirit of the Lord came upon him, and he judged Israel. He judged Israel and went out to war. And the Lord delivered Shushan Rishathaim, king of Mesopotamia, into his hand, and his hand prevailed against Shushan Rishathaim. Now, if you have done any type of, should I say, ancient history, you would have heard of Mesopotamia. So we know that these biblical accounts are so true. Okay, I mean, word for word, name for name. You can't make this stuff up. I don't know who would think so. Verse 11. So what's happening here? The children of Israel, or children's, Lord knows how many, since leaving Canaan and staying in Egypt for 458, and then not having that experience. Some of them maybe weren't even there in Egypt. God knows what happened, but they mingled. And I think this is what happens with us. We look at people from the outside, say, yeah, they look good. They look like they might seem friendly and all that stuff, but they are full of idolatry. They are full of all kinds of pagan ideas, and you mingle, you cohabitate, you give your daughters. Marriage is such an important thing, and it is not just a physical thing, it's a spiritual thing. You're bonding with a person whose spirit is not connected with God. You're gonna have serious issues. And you know what? 9 out of 10, you're not going to persuade them to come over to your side. They're going to pull you over to their side. So let's see what happens. God is already not with them because of their idolatrous ways. Verse 11. And the land had rest 40 years, and Othniel, the son of Kenaz, dead. So the judge that God appointed to them, he did his work. But when he died, let's see what happens. Verse 12. And the children of Israel did evil again in the sight of the Lord. And the Lord strengthened Eglon, the king of Moab, against Israel, because they had done evil in the sight of the Lord. And he gathered unto him the children of Ammon and Amalek, and went and smote Israel, and possessed the city of palm trees. So the children of Israel served Eglon, the king of Moab, 18 years. Wow. So from one pagan king service to another, first the king of Mesopotamia, I think they served him for 7 or 8 years. Then now they're serving the king of Eglon for 18 years. And all this time they'll have them as their servants, have them paying tribute, which means they have to work to make sure they can meet the tribute when it's time, whether it's money or goods, however. Okay. And verse 15. But when the children of Israel cried unto the Lord raised them up a deliverer, Ehud, the son of Jurah, a Benjamite, a man left-handed. And by him the children of Israel sent a present unto Eglon, the king of Moab. Now, I'm going to say this, and I'm not sure why they mentioned that he was left-handed, but left-handed people have a certain intellectual ability with them. I am not even asking or requiring any comments about that. I have lived long enough, and every left-handed person I have come in contact with, they have a special, should I say, gift intellectually. They are always sound, always sound. Okay, moving on, verse 16. But Ehud made him a dagger which had 2 edges of a cubit length, and he did gird it under his raiment upon his right thigh, because remember now he's left-handed. Okay, and he brought the present unto Eglon, king of Moab, and Eglon was a very fat man. And when he had made an end to offer the present, he sent away the people that bare the present. But he himself turned again from the quarries that were by Gilgal, and said, I have a secret errand unto thee, O king. Who said, Keep silence. And all that stood by him went out from him. And Ehud came unto him, and he was sitting in a summer parlor, which he had for himself alone. And Ehud said, I have a message from God unto thee. And he arose out of his seat. And Ehud put forth his left hand, and took out the dagger from his right thigh, and thrust it into the belly, into his belly, which is the belly of Ehud, of Eglon, the king. So here's what's happening. King of Moab, persecuting the children of Israel. Eglon was the king at the time. God raised up a judge. Now these judges were not just to judge the people, they were to guide them as well, and go on behalf of them in battles, things like that. So he raised up, what's his name? Ehud. So Ehud is now the judge. He's also going to battle. He's left-handed. And I think they mentioned that because they maybe thought, had he been right-handed, he might have been suspected of pulling out a weapon. But because he's left-handed, I'm not sure. But like I said, left-handed people have a special intellectual capacity. I don't know what it is, but they're just extra gifted intellectually. Okay, so Ehud made a dagger, 2 edges, and he put it on his right thigh. So when everybody is out, he told the king he bought him a gift. So of course he's like the representative of the children of Israel. So the king is entertaining him in his summer parlor, and the king is said to be a very obese man, and he's sitting there, so I'm sure he can't really get up quickly enough. So while the king says, okay, everyone out of the palace, while he's sitting there with just Ehud, Ehud finds the opportunity, takes out the dagger and sticks it into the king in the fatty part, I'm sure, in his stomach. Kind of gross, but hey, this is all that's happening here. Verse 22, and the haft also went in after the blade, and the fat closed upon the blade, so that he could not draw the dagger out of his belly, and the dirt came out. Okay, I can't picture this. I don't know where the dirt is coming from, what dirt you have on the inside of you. I'll just leave that at that. Okay, verse 23. Then Ehud went forth through the porch and shut the doors of the parlor upon him and locked them. This sounds like a movie. Verse 24, when he was gone out, his servants came, and when they saw that, behold, the doors of the parlor were locked, they said, surely he covereth his feet in his summer chamber. And they tarried till they were ashamed, and behold, he opened not the doors of the parlor. Therefore they took a key and opened them, and behold, their Lord was fallen down dead on the earth. So again, Ehud goes into the parlor with the king, Eglon. He puts a dagger into his stomach. He can't move the dagger because he is not able to. He has too much fat maybe on his stomach. Ehud, once he sees he falls over dead, he goes out, closes in the door like if nothing has happened, goes his way. And then the king's servants are outside. They are not supposed to disturb the king. He is relaxing in his summer palace. And then they kind of start to get suspicious and wondered, why is he in there so long and he's not asking for anyone? And they finally push the door in and finds him dead. All right. Verse 26. And Ehud escaped while they tarried, and passed beyond the quarries, and escaped unto Sirath. And it came to pass when he was come, that he blew a trumpet in the mountain of Ephraim. And the children of Israel went down with him from the mount, and he before them. And he said unto them, follow after me, for the Lord has delivered your enemies, the Moabites, into your hand. And they went down after him, and took the fords of Jordan toward Moab, and suffered not a man to pass over. And they slew of Moab at that time about 10,000 men, all lusty and all men of valor, and there escaped not a man. So Moab was subdued that day under the hand of Israel, and the land had rest 80 years. And after him was Shamgar, the son of Anath, which slew of the Philistines 600 men with an ox goad, and he also delivered Israel. So God is hearing when his people cry. Now, I tell you this, God is so merciful. We mess up intentionally a lot of times. It ain't no kind of mistake sin. We presumptuously sin. And God still delivers us from our messes. After we make them, God sends a way for us to escape. Mercy. You're trying to tell me he's not a merciful God? He's not a loving God? Why wouldn't you want to have a relationship with such a God, such a father who takes care of his children? You're missing out. Honestly, that's all I can say. You're missing out. And you're just hurting your own self by not having a relationship with God. Okay, that's the end of chapter 3 of Judges. Quite interesting. Quite interesting. These people were warriors. They had to be, because they know that is what God prepared them for when they left Egypt. You have to fight your way through to get the land that I promised you. You're not just going to be able to go in and inhabit. Maybe in some instances they were able to, but no, the people around them would not leave them be because they saw them as a threat. Remember, people kept hearing the stories about these children of Israel moving through like a swarm of locusts through the desert and just eradicating anything in their path that was supposed to be gone. So again, another deliverance from God, and they said God sent another one. 80 years they had peace after that situation. Bless the Lord. That's the end of our reading for today. And again, I pray you continue to listen, because faith comes by the hearing of God's word. And some of you who think you want some excitement that the Bible is boring, man, you need to get this thing and sit and read. There's some stories in here. You can't even find them on Hollywood. Or Hollywood maybe went here and found them and made movies from them. Amazing stories. Some of them might be a little gory for you, but it's real. It's real. So until our next reading, have a great day. Happy Sunday. Start of a new week. Take care. Bye.